Is going on, Woodward Bet Nation? Welcome back. Tuesday show. Beer and Scott in the house, talking everything in the sports world. My man with the, let's go to the whiteboard. Now, Scott, I know you're a baseball guy, so you're shedding a little bit of a tear today, I'm sure. Pitchers and catchers were supposed to report to Lakeland for the Tigers, but we know the work stoppage preventing that. So, Scott, how are we doing? Probably a little sad day for the baseball fans out there.
Yeah, a little sad day. I'm doing a little better, obviously, than I was yesterday on that Super Bowl hangover that I had. But yeah, I mean, I wish they were getting back to work. I mean, baseball is one of my favorite sport. And when I saw they were supposed to report today, I thought, damn. I mean, I was kind of excited. I've made it known, I like to collect sports collectibles, and tomorrow the Topps Baseball releases their 2022 cards. So there should be a Riley Green in there. I'm going to expect a Torkelson to be in there. So, yeah, I was kind of looking forward for that dropping. And then I heard about all this and thought, man, we need to get to work here, because now it's day one. It's starting to affect the baseball fans.
Yeah, hopefully they'd figure this out. I mean, summer, there's not a lot going on in the sports world as it is. So, if we don't have baseball going on, it's not going to be a fun summer. So, Scott, I know you, speaking of this, you're putting together a little giveaway here. And if you want to check it out, head over to Woodward Bets on Twitter. Make sure you're following us over there. You got to follow us, got to follow the network. But, Scott, why don't you let the people speaking of sports collectibles, what we got going on here with this giveaway?
Yeah, in honor of the new cards breaking out tomorrow, the 22s, there was a handful of 2021 Tigers that put together, threw a Dylan Larkin in there as well. Always nice to have the captain in there. But, I mean, there's some rookies. Casey Mize rookies, Tarek Skubals rookies, a couple of them in there. Bo Burrows, a couple of those guys, Cabrera cards. So, yeah, just get in there, retweet, follow us, and we'll pick a winner on Friday, and we'll get them over to you.
There we go. All you got to do is follow. You're already following. Hey, you're in the running. So retweet that post on our page, and good luck to everybody out there. So we're going to start to do more and more of these giveaways. Get back to you guys. We appreciate you guys for tuning into the show. The plan today, kind of recap everything we saw. We have some college hoops to break down tonight, and the center of the show, of course, will be some NBA with best bets at the end of the show. If you're on YouTube, welcome in. Get those comments going. I love talking to you guys in that YouTube chat. So, Scott, I know you guys talked about it yesterday. You definitely had a hangover yesterday. I mean, you were looking good. So, A, how was the party? B, just do another quick recap. I'll give my thoughts here on the Super Bowl, but a quick recap for me. I saw some of the show yesterday, but good to see you're feeling better here today.
Yeah, I mean, those Modelos were going down real good, Chris. Couple shots here and there, and they start piling up on you real quick. But the party, the Brass Rail is a good time. They had a brunch special, Chris. So I'm telling you what, man. I walked in there. I was walking down the street, and you hear the big booming bass and everything, and you're thinking, man, is there like a nightclub going on or something? It's like, it's like 4 p.m. on a Sunday. And I'm thinking, all right. So I open up the door to get in the Brass Rail and realized real fast it was coming from inside the Brass Rail. They had a pretty good DJ. He was playing some pretty good songs, mixing them in there real nice. But the surprising thing, Chris, and I'm not even bullshitting you, it was 5-to-1 women in this place. And it was packed,
nice.
Wall to wall. Every table was packed. It was quite the people watching crowd, that was for sure. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. I was doing a lot of smiling, and there was some. A lot of people happy to be dancing at 4 or 5 in the afternoon, and right about when the game started, most of them were women, and the place pretty much cleared out. So it was about half full after when the game started, but. Man, I couldn't imagine, Chris, if the weather wasn't like it was. I was thinking to myself, this place would have been, the roof would have been blown off this place. It was bumping. It was pretty fun. We were trying to do the pregame show, and I could hardly hear what was going on. We had headphones on and stuff, but yeah, you felt like you had to scream, but you really didn't, right? Because, the microphone's there. I felt like I had to scream because you couldn't hear yourself think. But a lot of fun, good game, great halftime show. A lot of my props actually came through for me, which I was happy. You know which one made me laugh, though, Beer, is when Stafford kneeled on at the end of the game. He only kneeled one time, and he finished at 6 yards. if they had to have another down, he would have kneeled on it, and I would have lost that bet. But when I realized they weren't going to run any more plays, I was feeling fortunate there and cracking up. But overall, good day though. Great Super Bowl.
But you got lucky. Actually, I got lucky too. I had that one as well. But Cincinnati still had that timeout. I mean, they could have called the timeout and made them kneel on it one more time. I mean, it's kind of procedure at the end, but some teams will do that. You never know what can happen. But yeah, and the Mixon one, the non-quarterback throwing a touchdown. I believe they said during the games it was his first pass attempted even in the NFL. So for some reason in the Super Bowl, we get these crazy plays that teams feel like they got to come up with something. We saw the Rams try it as well with Cooper Kupp throwing to Stafford. It was a kind of an ugly throw, but he got lucky. Stafford catches that. He's going to get lit up on that one. So they're lucky that did not connect on that one. But game played out kind of as we thought it would. We both liked the under. It was looking a little dicey early on, but things slowed down. Felt like the Rams got very tentative once they got up and got a lead, and almost playing not to lose more than being aggressive and attacking down the field. I mean, every time they attacked Jalen Ramsey down the field, they were successful. That long one to Jamar Chase, the T. Higgins one, I know a lot of controversy about the face mask, but they were able to attack down the field. But Joe Burrow, we saw him get injured. Stafford banged up as well. So kudos to the Rams. And Scott, what does this do for Matthew Stafford as far as a resume, as far as a Hall of Fame resume? Does this cement his spot? Is there more to do here? We know he's still got some years left in him, but as of right now, if he hung up the cleats today, is he an NFL Hall of Famer?
I mean, I've seen some of that talk. I don't believe so, Beer. I mean, yeah, sure. He's been in the league a long time. He just left and won the Super Bowl. Sure, it's a great story, but I mean, he's never really been an MVP. He's never even been the best quarterback in his own division. So, I mean, Aaron Rodgers has held that throne for quite some time. So for me, Matt Stafford is not a Hall of Famer. Now, if he goes on and wins maybe one or two more Super Bowls or gets there, you know what, then maybe you can put him in the discussion. But, I mean, just because you win the Super Bowl does not mean you should get in the Hall of Fame. I mean, Joe Flacco is not a Hall of Fame quarterback either. So, I mean, just kind of looking at it that way, and I'm not trying to compare Stafford to Flacco by any means, but I'm just saying just because you win one doesn't mean you should get in there. I mean, the guy really struggled throughout his whole career against teams with winning records. So that is definitely going to be on his resume as well. But I mean, kudos to him. I mean, he basically showed us Lions fans and squashed the the question that was always thrown around: is it Stafford's fault or is the Lions' fault? The guy leaves 1 year, wins the Super Bowl. As we said, Chris, on one of the very first bet show, we should already know how this movie ends. Matt Stafford's going to leave us, and he's going to go on and end up winning the Super Bowl. But I mean, it was a perfect situation for him. I mean, they had Aaron Donald. They traded for Von Miller. They had Jalen Ramsey. They had a pretty decent running game. I mean, they did all this too without Robert Woods. I mean, with Robert Woods on that team and Cooper Kupp and OBJ, I mean, that offense is, even a little bit scarier. But I think the salary cap monster and a few other set free agent things are going to end up hurting the Rams here. So we'll see how happy Stafford's going to be moving forward in these next few years with these Rams, especially if that salary cap monster gets them in. They got to start paying a lot of these guys. So we'll see what happens. But Aaron Donald, to me, Chris, could have very well been that MVP. And we talked about that a little bit with the defensive player. I mean, I thought he was there. I mean, they got sacked, what was it, 5 or 6 times in that second half, I believe. But, man, Aaron Donald literally put that game on his back. And then it was that one play at the end. We've already saw the replays of McVay saying, yeah, it's going to be Aaron Donald. It's going to get this game's over, blah, blah, blah. But if there was another replay that showed Ramsey fell down, Jamar Chase was running down the sideline wide open. I mean, if Burrow has one more second of time, I think Burrow just completed the miracle pass, and the Bengals could have won that Super Bowl. So Aaron Donald literally within a second or two, I believe, saved the Rams.
Yeah, did you think they got the MVP right? I felt like it should have went to Aaron Donald. Not to disparage Cooper Kupp. I mean, 2 touchdowns. He did what we thought he would do. Stafford was certainly in the running as well with the way he played, but God, Aaron Donald definitely left his mark on that game from start to finish. Specifically, finished that last play where he just ran right over the guy, and he's in the backfield before Burrow even knows what's happening. Do you agree with the Cooper Kupp MVP? Obviously, we can't change it. I don't think it was a horrible MVP award. I mean, again, he deserved it, but I just thought Aaron Donald, to me, stood out the most on that field on Sunday.
I believe it was really close. I mean, I would have probably voted for Donald myself if I was in that position, but I think it went Cooper Kupp's way just because of the incredible season he had. I think they just wanted to add, piece of hardware to him other than that Super Bowl trophy that he had. I mean, that was a historic season he had for a wide receiver, and we'll see if that's able to continue now moving forward with with Matt Stafford here in the next couple seasons here. But man, I mean, Stafford doubled that guy's production in 1 year, so we'll have to see what happens moving forward. But Chris, did you notice that they let out the ratings? And Detroit was the second highest market behind Cincinnati as far as the city watching the Super Bowl, and LA didn't even crack the top 10. I mean, how terrible. First time in 38 years your dang team is in the Super Bowl and you can't even crack the top 10. I mean, Jacksonville's market beat you. You should be ashamed, LA. But, yeah, goes to show you what kind of sports town Detroit is. Basically for us to be number 2 in the ratings in the Super Bowl. I just think this is one hell of a sports town.
Yeah, I mean, we know there's a lot of Stafford backers watching that game, and LA we know is a town. No one's from LA, so the fans, we've seen it all season at their games, at the Chargers games. The opposing team takes over the stadium. They really don't have that home field advantage. So it's a big market. The NFL obviously wants to be there. A beautiful new stadium, but as far as home fan support, that's the reason teams continue to leave LA. I mean, the Rams have been here before and they left. So we'll see how long this love affair will last with LA, but interesting nonetheless. So a couple just NFL notes while we're here. We're going to turn our attention to free agency and news and things like that. Deshaun Watson sounds like new coach Lovie Smith wants things resolved as soon as possible here with Deshaun Watson. So we'll see if we get any developments on that. Joe Burrow, just a sprained knee on his injury, Scott. So nothing that you should be overly concerned with. And I was reading an article, one of my favorite Dynasty websites. If you guys play Dynasty Fantasy Football, DynastyLeagueFootball.com, good friends of mine here on that site. But they were looking at some of the guys that could be potential fits somewhere else. And I saw this story in a few places, but sounds like Allen Robinson may not be back with the Bears here this season. And they kind of throw out teams. What would be a good fit? On DLF, they have Allen Robinson, a fit for the Indianapolis Colts. Odell Beckham, potentially a target for the Kansas City Chiefs. So that one we'll certainly keep an eye on. Mike Williams, a potential fit in Cleveland. And Devontae Adams, Scott, a potential fit with Las Vegas. So thoughts on any of those, courtesy of DLF?
Yeah, I was kind of looking at that. I saw a couple articles with that as well about guys you could look at. Maybe another one, too, to throw in there is Kyler Murray. We kind of see the relationship with Arizona breaking. I mean, if he gets into a team like, let's say, Pittsburgh or somebody with already a little better offense than what they have, I mean, what if he goes to Green Bay? Maybe, Rodgers leaves and he comes to Green Bay, a little Kyler Murray. So I think that's another guy, too. Like sometimes, when you're looking at players like that potentially have upside that could move, that a better situation would help improve their numbers and career. But I think Kyler Murray is another target, too, that I think I'd consider.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's if Kyler Murray wants to move to Green Bay, we'll be glad to help him. And I know one of our sponsors will be glad to help him as well. That's My Better Rate Mortgage. At Better Rate Mortgage, family is more than blood. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually get treated better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit mybetterrate.com or give them a call, 248-480-4467. So, Kyler, if you're out there listening, I know we're in Metro Detroit here, but you need some housing assistance in Wisconsin, Green Bay area. I mean, Scott, now you got me thinking, a trade of Aaron Rodgers and Kyler Murray, something like that. We'll be keeping an eye on that situation. Is he going back to baseball? Is he coming back to Arizona? Nobody knows, but make sure any mortgage needs you guys have, mybetterrate.com. Glad to have them here as part of the Woodward Bets show. All right, Scott, let's get into some college hoops here tonight. Michigan State, Penn State on the docket here. 6:30 tip, so I want to get this one in before the game gets started here momentarily. Looks like Sparty -2.5, total at 129.5. Thoughts on this one, Michigan State, Penn State?
Yeah, I mean, Michigan State made a little change to their lineup here, putting in Tyson Walker over to the bench, and they ended up starting Hogard. So, I mean, you kind of look at it, it seemed like it helped out here quite a bit here. Walker ended up shooting really well, had 15 points the other day, and ended up being quite the spark plug for that victory over Indiana. So, I mean, Izzo's making a few changes here. Looks like maybe a little bit of magic here worked out for him with that one. But, man, Penn State's been losing. If you look at their game log, they've lost some pretty close games to some pretty good teams here recently. I mean, you just look at their last three losses, 2 point, 1 point, and 6 points here. They lost to Michigan by 1, ended up losing to your Badgers on the road by 2, ended up losing to Minnesota by 6 on the road here. But looking at their against the spread, they've covered the last 3 out of 4. They've been doing pretty well with that, where we've seen the Sparties have struggled a little bit and have not covered the last 3 out of 4. They did cover against Indiana, but obviously did struggle a little bit against Wisconsin themselves, at Rutgers, and then at Maryland. So just kind of looking around here, Beer, you look at some of these some of these trends here. The Spartans are 1-6 against the spread their last 7 games, with a team with a losing record, a straight up losing record. So been struggling a little bit here against the spread is what we see. And then Penn State here, 6-0 against the spread in their last 6 home games. And then the under has been pretty popular here on Tuesday. It's 6-1 in their last Tuesday games, which a lot of these games, you know, in college, we're kind of seeing them. I mean, they're playing on the same day. Seems like Tuesday's a day we get a lot of games. So, yeah, I think that Tuesday stat matters a little bit coming off the weekend. But, yeah, Beer, I think it's going to be a pretty good game. Weird start here, 6:30. I thought it was a little awkward. 2.5 points. I think it's a right about the right number here, but I just think it's always tough to end up going on the road for the Sparties. I think Penn State's been playing some decent basketball. So I don't really have a strong lean on this one here. I think Michigan State needs to play a pretty good game here to get it done, as we've seen Penn State's been hanging in here with some of the best in the conference.
Well, Scott, what I always talk about with these college basketball teams, especially this time of the year, the look ahead, the distractions, thinking you're going to go in and just win a game. And I have those same concerns here with Michigan State tonight. You look at this game on paper, they should win. They are the better team. They're the favorite on the road, but we know how hard it is to win on the road in college basketball. You look at the upcoming schedule here for Michigan State, Scott, there are some heavy hitters coming up. Now, they got a little bit of a gap here, not till the 19th, but they do have Illinois this weekend, then at Iowa, Purdue, Michigan, Ohio State. They have some major games coming up that are going to be very important to their season for their chances at winning the Big Ten title. So now I'm going to look at the bets and the public all over Michigan State. I mean, it looks like 85% of the bets coming in on the Sparties. So I know what I want to do. When all that stuff lines up, I already have concerns. Everybody and their mother is on Michigan State, Scott. I want to go Penn State in this spot here. So, they haven't been great, like you said, but they've been close. They've been battling this spread. You can get a 3. There's a 3 right now at DraftKings. Most of them are at 2.5. So if you can find a 3 out there, certainly like it that much more. But I'm going with Penn State here on this one. If everyone's going to be on Michigan State, give me the Nittany Lions tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that's here where the gambling and sports betting experience comes in. A lot of times we see these same situations over and over. It's just the teams change. It's like literally the same thing. And we know more times than not, Beard, just as you mentioned, when teams are looking ahead, we talk about it all the time. It's something the computers can't really predict. But the mental aspect is really huge. And, we already talked about it a few times. I know I had liked the game, I think, with Michigan, and you had mentioned, they just played the big game against Purdue, against Ohio State, actually, now that I think about it, and kind of forewarned me as well about that one, and ended up playing out to where Ohio State ended up winning. And, yeah, I mean, we got a lot of things against Michigan State. 1, they're on the road. 2, they got some big games coming up, as you said. And Penn State is a team that you would think maybe they could potentially overlook. And 70-some% of the money is, as you mentioned, coming in on the Sparty. So, yeah, there's a lot of red flags there. So if either take Penn State or I just lay off.
I'm not trying to make our Spartan fans mad out there. We're gonna give you what we think and our best opinions, and leave the fandom at home. That's what you have to do. Sure, sometimes it's fun to bet on your team, sit back and try to win some money, but we're gonna try to give you the outlook. No fandom involved with these teams. So Penn State for me tonight. Scott, we got two other local teams down the rung a little bit in college basketball, and two teams that have certainly struggled this season. Central and Eastern on the docket tonight. Now, this one at Central, they are 1.5-point favorites. Total right around 146 in this one. Now, the records aren't great, Scott. 8-16 for Eastern, 6-16 for Central. But as far as covering the spread, Eastern is 500, Central a game over 500 here. These two teams tend to play two overs. 16 of Eastern's 24 games have gone over the number, and they just played back in January. Eastern cruised to a victory at home, 99-68, but I have a feeling you like the home team here in this one tonight.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm going to stick with the home team. Eastern's been struggling a little bit here. They lost to Ohio, Buffalo, in Kent. They've actually not covered here their last 4 out of 5. They did cover at Ohio on February the 3rd, but man, Central's been pretty pesky here recently. They went on a run where they had covered 4 in a row. And at the end of January, coming into February here, they end up losing to Buffalo by 20 when they were actually getting 12. So they didn't cover that one. They ended up covering, actually beating Ball State. They were 10-point underdogs there on the road as well. And then they lost. They were 13-point dogs to Ohio. They ended up covering that, only losing by 9. And then last night against Western, they ended up losing here on the road. I just think these teams here, you know, they're not really good, but I just think if you get a team on the road, they got the home crowd. I just think Central is in a better spot here, and I haven't been a favorite of Eastern's basketball team. Looking at them, I like to bet on the football team, but I've been picking on the basketball team here recently, and I've been doing pretty well.
So I'm going to go a different angle here. I'm going to go with the over. We mentioned that first meeting, Eastern scores almost 100 points in that one, so it kind of shows you the lack of defense with Central, and you see that in the numbers, Scott. They're giving up almost 80 points a game. Eastern, not much better, allowing almost 77 points per game. So these two teams combined are giving up 157 points per game. The total sitting at just 146. I know these teams don't score at that kind of clip, but again, we saw it earlier in the year with Eastern's almost scoring 100. If Central can put a better effort on the board, both teams, I think, have the possibility of hitting in the 80s here. So two teams, again, that play towards overs. I'm going to go with the over in this one and leave that spread alone here tonight. So as far as no other college basketball really get into, we'll continue to break down the local team, Scott, but I know you dug up some stats on some of the Detroit casinos here recently and doing pretty well, as you'd expect. But Detroit casinos reported a total retail sports handle of $35.87 million in January, second most since the opening month of October of 2020. That was $46 million. So thoughts on that number, almost $36 million here for the local sports books.
Yeah, first thing when I saw that number, I thought, damn, we need to get some more listeners if there's that much money being thrown around the Detroit area. I mean, come on, tell all your friends, all you guys. I know you guys are out there betting your hearts away here. I mean, $36.8 million in them casinos down there. I mean, that's incredible. I mean, you look at that. I mean, that's a little over $1 million a day getting thrown around at those 3 sports books. I mean, and you got to think about it, Beer. I mean, it's only a few hours a day, that 4 hours or so, that's probably really live that these guys are handling. I mean, I've been in there. We've been down there together. I mean, it's a lot of fun to head down there and watch some games. I mean, it's a pretty cool atmosphere just to be able to sit down there and enjoy the game with other people who may have bet the same things as you. It's always fun to cheer and root for your money. But when I saw that, I was quite surprised. And you know what? Maybe it's just because some of the mandates have been slowly but surely lifted. I just recently saw here that Motor City lifted their mask mandate for the casino as well. So next time you go down there to that FanDuel Sportsbook, you don't have to have a mask on. But, yeah, I mean, maybe that is part of it, you know. And let's think about it. Our teams stink as a whole. Wait till our teams are good. How much money are these sports books going to be pulling in when the Tigers and the Red Wings and the Pistons all turn it around here, which we all feel as if they're on the uppity up. So, yeah, I thought that was a pretty big number. I was quite surprised by that, but just goes to show you that sports betting is not going anywhere.
No, it's going to continue to grow. And you mentioned just think of when these Detroit teams are good. Well, by that time, you may have sports betting right at your seat in the stadium or very accessible in all of these venues. You see it over in Europe. You sit down, you bet on the damn soccer games right at your seat. So I think more and more of that is coming. We know we have the mobile apps where it's right at our fingertips already, but sports betting is not going anywhere anytime soon. So we are glad to be a part of it. We want to help you guys take these books down. That's our goal. We're on the other side, the David and Goliath here. So we're going against the heavyweights. We got our own heavyweights here, one behind the glass today, producing the show and easy. But we would definitely want to be here to help you guys in that case against these sports books. But good to see that it's caught on. I don't think any of us had any doubts that sports betting was going to be very, very popular. So I think we're going to continue, Scott, to see these numbers grow and grow and grow month after month. So we'll keep an eye on these handles. All right, let's talk some NBA here tonight. Scott, got about a little over a half hour before the slate locks. Want to get everybody lined up here for DFS tonight. So we'll start, as we always do, with the injury report. Guys we know are already out. No James Harden once again here tonight for Philadelphia. Still waiting on him to make his debut. So we'll see when he's able to give it a go. Paul George will remain out for the Los Angeles Clippers. No John Collins tonight for the Atlanta Hawks. Gordon Hayward once again out for Charlotte. Miles Turner going to be out as well for Indiana. Norman Powell remains on the shelf for the Clippers. Tyler Hero will not play tonight for Miami. No Chris Duarte for Indiana. As far as questionable tags, guys, we're not sure of. Jimmy Butler dealing with a right shoulder strain. We'll see if he's able to give it a go. If not, him and Hero out. That's going to open up a lot of usage. Giannis expected to be back in the lineup. Saw him miss the game the other night. He was upgraded to probable, so he should be good to go tonight. Ja Morant dealing with some ankle soreness. We'll see if he's able to give it a go. Malcolm Brogdon likely not going to play tonight, but we'll see if we get an update on that before we go off the air. And Marcus Smart dealing with a illness that is not COVID related. So that's I swear these injury reports, Scott, it's always 30 40 guys. I could continue to go on and on, but that's most of the big names not going to play tonight. So who is the center of your DFS lineups? Who are we building around tonight?
I mean, to me, it's got to start with Luka Beer. I mean, this dude's on fire recently. You look at his game log, it's sick. I mean, he had a couple 60s, he had 70 in there. So I think Luka at this point is a guy that I'd have to start with. If I can jam Embiid and Luka in my FanDuel lineup, which I think we can kind of squeeze it in there, we're going to have to get some value plays. I think that's the way to go. Obviously, Embiid's been on fire as well. I understand Boston is really good. Now, if you don't want to go Embiid, maybe we could throw some Carl Anthony Towns in there against Charlotte, because they've been struggling mightily. So especially, I think they're bottom of the league against the centers, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good place to go to. You could look at value with some value guys. Maybe look at your Bucks way. Maybe you could throw in Grayson Allen. Maybe you could use a Vanderbilt on Minnesota. I think LaMelo Ball too. I think that game's going to be pretty high paced. So I think I would look at a LaMelo Ball. Maybe if you want to go the Clippers route, we're going to be a little short-handed. Maybe you could throw in a Batum. He's only 37 on 100 on FanDuel. But Kyle Lowry or maybe Beverly would be some cheaper guards that I may throw in there. But, yeah, I think, just looking around here for me, I got to jam Luka in there. Luka is just, 70 points. That guy has just been playing amazing here recently. But, yeah, looking to stay hot in the NBA. Beer, I've cashed the last 4 out of 4 days in a row. Actually, we were talking, Easy and I were talking yesterday. Joker was the big spend up on FanDuel yesterday, and I had just kind of mentioned maybe looking at Drummond in his first start with the Nets, and ended up working out pretty good. Had DeJounte Murray and ended up coming at the top of a couple tournaments. But yeah, I think today I got to figure out a way to jam in Luka and Embiid. Maybe go Karl Anthony Towns if I can't really find a lineup I like to drop down from Embiid. But yeah, Luka for sure has got to be in my lineup today.
Yeah, I mean, I love if you can get two studs in your lineup. So let me dig out some value. I don't need to rehash those higher end guys. You're on it. I mean, Luka without Porzingis, we know that there's not much behind him, so he has to do that much more. Embiid has been probably the MVP of the league, Scott. I don't know that we can argue that now. I mean, I'd like to make a case for DeMar DeRozan, and the day we don't have, we're getting into the All-Star break. I'd love to dig in and see more of like MVP odds, but DeRozan has been unbelievable. Another huge game last night. But as far as value goes, I think we got to start with Indiana. Now they're big underdogs here in Milwaukee. That's a concern. But we talked about potentially Noah Brogdon, Duarte, Turner. I mean, they are really down to a bare bones crew. So the easy answer, Tyrese Halliburton, kind of in the mid range. But some of the value there with Indiana, Scott, is where we want to look. Buddy Hield is 6K on DraftKings. O'Shea Brissett is starting to play more and more minutes. He's only 5,400. And Lance Stevenson, a guy that's going to have to play some money, maybe the best value on this slate at just 4,000. The Clippers, another team that we can look to for value. We saw Terrence Mann have a massive game the other night. You mentioned Batum. Marcus Morris is always cheap. Hartenstein is playing some minutes, so that's another team that you can look to for value. And in Atlanta, another team. Capella's price is coming down. DeAndre Hunter playing well right now. So there's plenty of value out there, Scott. If you want to go with that build, like you mentioned, you plug Luka, you plug Embiid, it gets a little depressing because salary remaining, it's going to tell you basically good luck. But with some of these names that we've given you, I think there is a way to build that lineup. So you're locking in those high ceilings, you're capitalizing on a lot of the value that's out there. And I'd agree on Karl Anthony Towns as well. I think if you can't find a way to get to Embiid in a tougher matchup, a lower total, that Minnesota-Charlotte game, Scott, I mean, this thing's over 240 on the total. So that one's going to have a lot of fireworks. You mentioned LaMelo Ball. You can pretty much pluck anyone out of that game and feel pretty good about it. So looks like a fun slate of games tonight for sure. So before we get into the best bets here, Scott, we got to talk some jars cannabis here before we lock in some winners tonight.
Man, they got incredible thing going on at Jars here. I don't know if you checked it out, Beer, but you should go over to jarscannabis.com and check out the events. They got the Jars Rail Jam going on. Looks like it's like a huge ski slope thing. They got a couple unique features on it, and nothing you and I, us old fellas, would be able to do. We'd need a whole box of edibles to fend off that pain if I wiped out on that thing. But yeah, you guys got to check it out. You can register, participate. It's all free to try it out. $1,000 for first, $500 for second, and so get in there and check it out. But Jars Cannabis like I said, had a lot of fun when I went over there. Great place, a lot of nice people, and you can check them out. Recreational and a medical retailer, and you can check them out at jars.com. They got delivery and all sorts of different options for any different lifestyle. But yeah, a lot of fun. So I'm gonna be interested in checking that out, Beer, the Rail Jam. So that should be a lot of fun here by Jars. But I didn't realize, Beer, this Jars Cannabis, they're just not located here in Michigan. They're also located out in the West Coast. So this isn't just a couple dudes like me and you deciding to put a sign up on a building and get in the medical marijuana industry here. Looks like I was pretty impressed with just kind of looking around here. So I'm happy they're on board here, but I'm definitely interested in checking out this Rail Jam.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds pretty odd. Like you said, the falls could be very costly for us at our age. You got to watch them falls, especially an old guy like you. One broken hip is not too far off. So looks awesome though. Plenty of offerings over there at Jars. Like you said, this isn't just some shop thrown up here at the last minute. These guys know what they're doing. Take advantage of the offers. Take advantage of our relationship with them. You mentioned Woodward Sports, so you get a nice little discount. So tell them we sent you over at Jars Cannabis. All right, Scott, shorter show today, but we got things locking up here soon. So we want to get the people some winners. We focus on college hoops and NBA tonight. So best bets here Tuesday night. What do we got, buddy?
I got two college basketball games, Beer. First one, I'm going to go Florida State -2 against Clemson. And then I also have Ole Miss -3.5 over South Carolina. So those will be my two that I'll be focusing on here tonight.
All right, I'm going to go to the NBA. I got three for you. I like it's three favorites, which, again, I don't like doing, but I really like all three of these. I'm going to start with the Atlanta Hawks here tonight at home, -1. Now, Cleveland been fantastic. Maybe the best story in the NBA as well as they are playing right now. This is another game. People look at it on paper. Cleveland, the 35-win team. The Hawks have 30 losses. We're seeing 72% of the bets coming in on the Cleveland Cavaliers. But guess what, Scott? A ton of money coming in on the Hawks. I'm with the money here in Trae Young. Give me Atlanta -1. I'm going to go with my Bucks here as well. Big spread, like we mentioned. I think Indiana gets rolled. I mean, they're great for daily fantasy. They're great for filling that value need, but I don't know how they're going to stay in this game with Giannis back in the lineup here. So seeing 13.5 on that one. So give me the Bucks big. We've seen a lot of blowouts in the NBA this season. And then I'm going to go with the Memphis Grizzlies. Once again, they've been very good to us. They are in New Orleans, just 4.5-point favorites here. Now, we hope Ja Morant is in that lineup, but even if he's not, I still think they handle this New Orleans team. So Atlanta, -1, Milwaukee, -13.5, and the Memphis Grizzlies, -4.5. So parlay those up, do them single, match them up with Scott's for a big 5-teamer in hoops, whatever you want to do. Let's hope we're back tomorrow with a 5-0, 4-1 record here on the best bets. But Scott, a fun show here today. As always, final thoughts for the people here Tuesday night. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, one other thing too, Chris, 11 o'clock tonight, U.S. men's hockey team's playing Slovakia, and I like the over in that goals, over in that as well. So I'll be looking at that one, but yeah, looking a lot of fun. Get over to that Woodward Bets Twitter page. We appreciate all you guys listening. We got a little bunch of Tiger 2021 cards, include some rookies of our favorite new young players, Scooble and Mai. So get over there, check that out, retweet that for us. We definitely appreciate that, but always fun to get in here and talk sports with everybody. All you Detroit D-Gens, as I like to say. But, yeah, looking forward to, now we don't have any more football here to talk about, Beer. We're going to have to dive into this college basketball so that we can all be honed in as a group here and fill out our brackets and get ahead of the curve. But looking forward to breaking that down here as the weeks go on.
Absolutely. College basketball, March Madness, one of my favorite things. So we're certainly going to get in the weeds here and get deep into college basketball. We'll continue to break down the NBA each and every night as well. Tomorrow night, big slate of NBA games, usually every Wednesday. So we will do that tomorrow. We'll have the recap of everything we saw tonight. Michigan State, the Central Eastern battle, and we'll check in with our best bets. As Scott said, head over to Woodward Bets on Twitter. Retweet that. Make sure you're following both. We're 31 shy of 300, so let's make the push to 300. That's my challenge to you guys today. If you're already following, find one of your buddies. Tell them about Woodward Bets. Tell your mom. Tell your sister. Tell your boyfriend. Whatever it may be, let's push for 300 followers on there. That is the challenge for you guys today. But we appreciate you guys for listening. As always, great interaction in the chat as always as well. So for Scott, for our boy Easy, producing the show behind the glass, I am Beer. We are Woodward Bets. Thank you so much for watching. Best of luck with your bets tonight, and we'll catch you right back here tomorrow.